Russia just did something that nobody saw coming. A jet so advanced, so terrifying, it can now fly with 2 pilots, control drone swarms in real time, and transform a single supersonic aircraft into a fully operational airborne command center at 20,000 feet. This is not a concept. This is not a render. This already happened. The Su-57, Russia's most powerful stealth fighter, just flew in a completely new configuration. And the world's defense analysts are still processing what this actually means. Because on the surface, adding a second seat sounds simple. But when you understand what that second seat actually does, and who sits in it, and what they can command from up there, this stops being an aviation story and becomes a story about the future of warfare itself. Stay with me through this entire video, because the final piece of this puzzle changes everything.
In May 2026, Russia's first deputy prime minister, Denis Manturov, stepped in front of cameras and made a very specific announcement. The 2-seat variant of the Su-57 fifth-generation stealth fighter had successfully completed its maiden flight. Not a leaked photo, not a rumor from a defense forum, an official, on-the-record government confirmation from one of Russia's most senior officials. The aircraft was piloted by Sergei Bogdan, one of Russia's most decorated and experienced test pilots. This is the same man who has flown the Su-57 through much of its development program. Officials described the flight as proceeding normally according to the test plan. Everything worked, everything checked out. And with that flight, the official testing phase began. Now, here is something important to understand. This aircraft was not developed on government orders. Sukhoi, the aerospace company behind the Su-57, developed the 2-seat variant proactively, on their own initiative, which tells you something. When a defense company spends its own resources building something nobody officially asked for yet, it means they are absolutely certain the demand is coming. They were right, and now the testing has begun.
So what exactly did Sukhoi change? The 2-seat Su-57 features a completely redesigned forward fuselage. The cockpit section has been rebuilt in a tandem arrangement, 2 seats, one behind the other. The rear seat sits slightly higher than the front, similar to the layout in the Su-30 family of jets, but with a more pronounced height difference to give the rear occupant improved forward visibility. Externally, the aircraft retains all the core Su-57 characteristics: the same stealthy airframe shaping, the same engine inlets, the same tail configuration. It did not sacrifice its stealth profile or its maneuverability to accommodate the second crew member. The engineers kept the fundamentals intact. Now, who sits in that rear seat? Not a student pilot learning basic maneuvers. The person in the backseat is a weapons systems officer, a specialist, someone whose entire job is to manage the complex information environment of a modern networked battlefield. From that rear cockpit, at supersonic speed, that officer can run electronic warfare operations, manage targeting data, monitor multiple sensor feeds simultaneously, and most importantly, command unmanned combat aerial vehicles operating alongside the jet. This is where the 2-seat Su-57 stops being a fighter and becomes something entirely new.
Russia has been developing a stealth unmanned combat drone called the S-70 Okhotnik. It is large, stealthy, and designed to operate alongside crewed fighters as a loyal wingman, carrying weapons, extending sensor range, and taking on missions too dangerous or too complex for a single manned aircraft alone. The problem with controlling drones in combat has always been coordination. Ground-based operators face communication delays, Single-seat fighter pilots already have enough to manage just flying and fighting. The cognitive load of simultaneously commanding drone wingmen while dogfighting or executing a strike mission is simply too high. The two-seat Su-57 solves this problem directly. The weapons systems officer in the rear cockpit becomes a dedicated drone commander. While the front seat pilot focuses on flying and immediate combat tasks, the rear seat officer maintains control of the unmanned assets, directing the Okhotnik drones, managing their sensor data, assigning them targets, and weaving them into a coordinated attack. Russian engineers describe this as creating a single information space, a shared operational picture where the pilot, the WSO, and the drones are all working from the same data, the same map, the same mission. The aircraft and its unmanned wingmen operate as one system, rather than separate platforms trying to communicate across distances. This is the future of air combat, and Russia just flew it. This development does not exist in isolation. It is part of a much larger pattern. China has been pursuing almost exactly the same concept with its J-20 fifth-generation fighter. A two-seat J-20 variant has been spotted in testing, and Chinese defense analysts have been public about the same goal: a rear-seat WSO managing loyal wingman drones in contested airspace. Two of the world's most capable military powers are simultaneously investing in the same configuration. That parallel development is not coincidental. It reflects a shared conclusion about where air combat is heading, and both nations are racing to get there first. There is also a significant export dimension to consider. Earlier concepts for a two-seat Su-57 were historically linked to discussions with India, which has long been a major operator of Sukhoi aircraft. India flies the Su-30 MKI in large numbers and has deep institutional familiarity with Sukhoi platforms. No formal deal has been confirmed for this specific variant, but the training and transition advantages for existing Su-30 operators are obvious. Countries in Southeast Asia, the Middle East, and Africa operating Russian aircraft will be watching this program closely.
Let's lay out the complete timeline of how we got here. 2020. The single-seat Su-57 enters operational service with the Russian Aerospace Forces. 2021. The first public references to a two-seat variant begin appearing in Russian defense reporting. Early 2025. Ground taxi trials of the modified prototype begin. Mid-May 2025. Images of the redesigned forward fuselage and tandem cockpit surface publicly online. Late May 2025. The maiden flight is officially confirmed by the Deputy Prime Minister. From here, the test program will focus on structural validation of the modified fuselage, avionics integration between the two cockpits, handling quality assessments with the enlarged forward section, and the early stages of drone control testing. Russian officials have not released a specific test schedule or production timeline, but the program is moving. And given that Sukhoi initiated this development without being told to, the momentum behind it is real.
So step back and look at what just happened. Russia flew a stealth fighter that carries a specialist whose entire purpose is to command autonomous drone wingmen from a supersonic cockpit. An aircraft that turns one jet into a networked combat system. An aircraft that addresses one of the most fundamental challenges of modern air warfare: coordination between manned and unmanned platforms in a high-speed, high-threat environment. This is not about one airplane. This is about a doctrine, a vision for how the next generation of air combat will actually be fought. And Russia just validated that vision in the air. The sky is genuinely changing, and the Su-57 family just got far more dangerous. If you found this breakdown valuable, hit that like button. It helps this channel reach more people who follow real defense analysis. Subscribe if you are not already, because we cover these developments every week with the same depth and detail. And I want to hear from you in the comments.
Do you think the two-seat Su-57 is a genuine leap forward? Or do you think the drone coordination challenges are still too significant to overcome? Drop your take below. I'll see you in the next one.